What is going on, guys? So this week I have a little surprise. Now it's I did my due diligence now, and it's kind of an upgrade. I know I've seen on the forums that these fit, but I wasn't sure, and I wanted to physically get them and try them on. So this is going to be a video for that, and I'll talk about them a little bit, basically saying why they are and aren't an upgrade. But check it out. We're going to talk about the Z26 stuff because I don't know if you could tell, but I'll put pictures on screen because I have pictures. This wheel is extremely dirty from brake dust. I will say they do advertise that if you get the Z23s, they have little to no brake dust, which is true. And the Z26s, they don't advertise anything about brake dust, so it's also true. But supposedly they're better compound, which I believe, and they do stop really good. But I still don't think that they do quite enough. So we're doing this upgrade. Supposedly 2006 WRX calipers and brake rotors and all that fit on this car. Now I did my due diligence, and basically it's the same size rotor. What does that mean? It means that basically the rotor is going to take the same amount of heat because it's the same size, the same thickness. Basically it's not going to be a brake upgrade for your rotor, and what that means is it's not going to dissipate heat as fast, which means that you're going to be more likely to get brake frayed when you're using these aggressively. But these have 4 pots. What does that mean? It means we got more clamping force. We got clamping force on both sides, which I think is why I'm getting that warping feeling when I'm braking aggressively. Now basically the logic is that because we only have calipers or pistons on one side of the caliper, it is going to push this way and it's not going to push against itself, which means that basically it's going to make the rotor want to warp this way because it's pushing only on one side. So I'm hoping that we don't get that warping feeling by getting the clamping force on both sides, but I'm not getting any brake fade, I'm getting warping. So I'm not really worried about the heat efficiency as far as brake fade, but I am hoping that I don't get the warping feeling anymore, because if I'm doing like 110 to 70 braking wise, it'll give me a little bit of shaking in the steering wheel. It doesn't stay, it will roll itself out basically, and then it'll drive fine, but when you're braking you do feel it quite a bit. So I'm about to test fit these calipers on. After I take the wheel off and everything, I'm going to clean these wheels so that you guys can see the difference in the brake dust, and I'll let you guys know if these fit. Like I said, supposedly these are the same size rotors, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. I did get new rotors. I don't like pad slapping rotors. I like to get a whole new set so that you can bed them to the rotor and have no issues. But obviously the pads are going to be different. So let's get into this. All right, we got a little progress here. So I got a couple answers for you. Obviously they fit. This is with them mocked up. Now what I mean by mocked up is that the bolt is in holding it in place, but it is not all the way down. Now I'll explain. So obviously the rotor is the same size, so if you wanted to pad slap it, I am pretty confident that you could. Do I recommend it? No, you do what you want. But what it does look like is that, I don't know about this yet, I'm not testing that because I'm not bleeding my brakes today, but it looks like this should fit into this because this is the same style for the banjo bolt. And then we also have these bolts here in the back. Caliper bolts do not fit into this. Now they start, but they don't want to go down, which they should go down pretty freely. They're not doing that. So if you do buy these, make sure that you get caliper bolts as well as from not just the caliper and the pads. So you need pads, caliper, and caliper bolts. That's what I recommend, because these do not want to go in so easily. And I'm assuming that these have a different thread pitch. They do start. I am not going to cross thread them, especially because this is not aluminum, this is cast iron steel, so it just wouldn't be a good time. So we're going to order those because I have the brakes coming anyways, and then we're going to put these back on. The Z26 pads are actually holding up pretty well. It's a little side note, they're probably at like 5 to 6 mil, maybe 7 mil, I don't even know. I can't really see in there, but they're thick still. Now I probably did like 10,000, maybe 20,000 miles on them of really aggressive driving, so it's decent. Again, you can see all the brake dust. There's so much brake dust on the caliper and on the wheel, which I'll show you in a moment. But for now, we do know that these do fit. If you order some 2006 WRX calipers, you can put them on here. Make sure you get pads and make sure you get caliper bolts. And yeah, let's get back to it. That's the color they're supposed to be versus that. I know, we're doing a whole lot here. Today, I was just talking about the brakes, and now I went to go clean my rims, and I showed you guys that the rims were clean. And I don't know if you guys could tell, but that might look a little funky, and I'll explain why in a second, and it's a good thing. But when I went to check them, and I took this one off on this side, y'all remember, there's excess wear, and now we're on wire. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we are on wire. So these tires are no longer good to drive, and I have to get new tires. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was talking about getting winter tires, but it's too soon for winter tires because I'm going to get studded winter tires, and in Connecticut and Massachusetts, you're not allowed to put them on until like mid-November. So I'm gonna have to wait on those. I don't feel like getting any tickets for something so silly. In New Hampshire, where I work at, they don't care, but for the sake of not getting a ticket, we're gonna get regular tires. I was gonna get these same ones. These ones are amazing, but I really don't care because I'm not gonna drive them for long. It's probably gonna be like 2 months of driving. So I went with some even cheaper ones. They're UHPs, basically, I'm assuming, because UHPs typically are from the same manufacturer. It's called ultra high performance. Basically, it's a tire rated for usually around like 140 to 168 miles an hour. Obviously, I'm not going that fast, but it's a decent tire. It was like 85 bucks per tire from Walmart. It's called Atlas UHP. 85 bucks, can't beat that. So we're gonna put some cheap tires on for now. I had my phone out of this setup. Hopefully we can get this super dial now. I'm thinking we can get the camber to 0. I don't know if I want to go to 0 or if I want to go to, I think I want to do 1 degree. I don't know yet. But for now, what we're doing right now is obviously the car's in the air still and it's not going anywhere because that tire's in the wire and I don't have any spares. I have the old ones, but they're too tall. They'll probably eat up the fender liner, so we're not going to do that. But
we still good.
For now, we are going to get this alignment in spec. I know it doesn't matter that it's going to be aligned. It's going to get another alignment after I put on the new tires, but we're still going to eyeball it so that we can see where it's at and get an idea of where the camber's at, and then from there we can adjust it and get it to around 1 degree, and then when we take it to get it aligned, they'll know where we want it at. So right now, because I'm doing that, I'm not drilling holes in it like I said I was, because I actually inspected the way that it was set up, and the coilover does have a little excess tilt out, which means that I have enough space to push it back in and not have any issues with the coilover messing around with the geometry. With that being said, instead of drilling the holes, we are going to remove one of the locking nuts, which I'm about to show now, and I'm going to show you guys the simple way of doing that if you guys already installed your control arms and you want to take them out without having to take out the whole control arm. So that's what I'm doing right now. And this is on the max speeding rod control arm. I was trying to find bolts that were thinner, like locking nuts, so that I could still have a locking nut on both sides, but it's not the end of the world. The one should suffice. But anyways, we're gonna get into that. So as you can see, I have jacks over here. This jack was to pick up the car. This one is to hold the wheel. I have it under the wheel, and you'll see why in just a moment. Basically, we have our 19 on the gun, and then there's a 17 on the other side, which is right here. I haven't zapped this one back down yet, but this is the one we're taking off. So if you look, we have 1, 2, 3 nuts there, right? This one is the adjustment. This is a locking nut. This is a locking nut. This big old locking nut, in my opinion, it isn't necessary. So this is the one we're removing, and that's gonna make it look like this, which is going to give us more positive camber, which will allow us to get it to around hopefully 0 and hopefully at least 1 degree. On the stock setup like this, it was running about 3 degrees and change, and that's just way too much, and it's part of the reason why we have that excess wear. So I'm going to unzap these, and then with that jacked up, If you jack it up more, which I'll show you in a second, it'll allow this to come out without us unbolting all this other stuff. I already did to this one. So let me get into that. I forgot to film me taking this bolt off. All it is a 17, and then you got a 19 on this side. I just zapped this off. Now we got the jack here. Ron's on the outside. He's gonna jack it up. Go ahead, Ron. All right, bring it down a little bit. All we're trying to do is get it loose enough to get the jack out. Let me get the bolt out. All right, so that came right out. All right, Ron, you could keep jacking it up now. If you're jacking it up and you're doing this like me, make sure that it doesn't come off the jack stand. If it does, it's fine. Just be mindful that, you know, it's not actually attached. Go a little more, Ron. All right, so you're good. Now you got the jack holding that up. Make sure you have a good jack that's actually going to hold it up, because if this sinks, this control arm will go back down and you're not going to have a fun time, because this thing is going to either crunch your hand or it's going to go back up all wrong. You may need the adjustable. I need the adjustable. Mine's not loosening right now, so I'm about to use the adjustable on this. These are reverse threads for the big boy, so lefty tighty, righty loosey. I know that's backwards, but that's how it is. And then these ones I believe are still normal, but we're gonna take this off, and then from there I'll show you what we're gonna do. As you can see, so this is normal, but if you look, this is tightening, right? And then as we spin, this one is coming out. Now luckily I was smart and I put anti-seize on all of this, so we don't gotta worry about none of this. So all you're doing is spinning this right. So that comes out. Now we can take this with us. Like I said, we have locking nut. This is the adjust right here. Take this, put it in the vise. That's the old one from the other one. Tighten this up. This side should be normal. It should be lefty loosey. Oh, it's not. So this is also reverse thread, so twist this right. I don't know why I thought that wouldn't be. That actually does make sense. Once that's loose, I would loosen this one too if it's not loose. If it is loose, then you're good to go. But take this off, so hold on. This. Put that down. This will twist right off. Okay, once you're done doing that, if you haven't already, I'm going to anti-seize these again because these are starting to dry up a little bit. And then I'm going to show you how to put them back in because you do want to do this a certain way as well. Alright, so once again, I got this all anti-seized up. Now when you do this, you got to grab it by the bolt, because if not, you're going to spin the knob and then the knob's going to come loose because that is normal threads. This may take a second to grab. Mine came on easy, but sometimes it takes a second to grab. Eventually, if you had it on before, or it may just be crusty because the inside of it wasn't anti-seize, you might need the adjustable on this to get this to spin all the way in, but it will go flush. As you can see, this one is flush, so make sure that you go all the way down before you put this back in. No, do not take it and then put it on like this and then try to adjust it while it's with the bolt in. And the reason for that being is if you do that and then you try to adjust it when it's in the car, it will not bottom all the way out and you'll have other headaches. So make sure that you take this and you bottom this out all the way down. Okay, so as y'all can see, I bottomed it out. Now the reason for that being is when you twist this righty-tighty, it will open up from both sides. This is now the locking nut right here, this one right here, and I'll show you in a second. I can't really show you because I'm probably not gonna adjust this out, but
Basically, when this opens up, then you would tighten this righty-tighty all the way down to this flush and tighten it up against that so that that doesn't move. Because again, it wants to move from both sides. But anyways, grab your bolt. If your thing is still jacked up and it hasn't sunken in yet, make sure that it isn't. If you have a friend, grab a friend. Ronnie boy, start lowering it, and when you're gonna see it, as I'm talking to them, as it goes up, you're gonna want to push it towards that way, and then you're gonna have to push towards the bottom of the wheel to push this back in because it should have less camber now. Push the bottom of the wheel on. Keep lowering. Yep. Keep pushing in too. Right there. Now push. You can give it a kick. Try to push some more. Keep going if you can.
Nope.
It's fighting you.
Yep.
Lower it a little more. Lower it and push. Still fighting you. Oh, too much. That's what happens if it goes too much, guys. As you can see, I lost it into the subframe. So this is the hard part, and this is probably because the suspension is on the other side, even though we did it just fine on the other side. But hold on, Ron. It looks like this is getting caught. Again, guys, watch your fingers. If you don't want your fingers to get pinched in between here, it will not be a fun time. Can you push it in from the bottom? Alright, I'm gonna need two hands, y'all, so you're not gonna be able to see this, but basically push from the bottom, and if you can have yourself should be able to pull too. Oh, actually, oh, now we're getting it. Lower it slowly. I don't even wait, hold up, I lost the bolt. Where the fuck's the bolt at? I need that. Oh, there it is. Okay, go ahead. Push it. Oh, what'd you do? You lowered it too much.
I tried to push it.
Oh, wait. Push on the bottom. Push on the bottom. Push on the bottom. Push on the bottom. Gotta lower it just a tad and push on the bottom at the same time.
See, that same time shit makes me drop it.
Push, just push now. Still nothing? Oh my gosh. Lower it. Oh. Oh. Wait. Oh, okay. So, as you guys can see, you gotta fight a little bit. Well, once it's in, it's in. And now we should have a lot of positive camber, which we're about to test now. Let me just zap these on. Also, a little update, because these are a little shallow. I haven't had any issues with this with the thread locker, and same thing with this thread locker. No issues. But back to work. Yeah, so it definitely worked. As you can see, we got a lot of toe out, and basically the reason for that being is because the camber arm is behind the toe arm. So camber arm, toe arm. If you pull the camber in, it's going to pull the toe out. If you pull the camber out, it's going to pull the toe arm in. So now I'm gonna set it on the ground, see what the camber's at, and then from there I'll adjust the camber, and then I'll eyeball the toe, and we'll see what we got from there. But yeah, we're about to put this on the ground and see what it's at. Okay, so there's a clip that's missing because I'm not gonna add it in because we took a bolt out. So you guys know we took one locking nut out, right? Now there was a second locking nut. I took the second locking nut out because it was still 2 degrees of camber, when we put it down, but we didn't adjust the toe yet. So the other side, we took the locking nut off, so then it was no locking nuts on there. It was just bottomed out all the way, and then we towed it in. And when we towed it in, it brought the camber in as well, and now we were positive 2 degrees with no locking nut. So then we were like, oh, let's go towing the other side and see if that does it before we take that locking nut off. We did that. Now it looks like that's going to be the right amount of camber. So now we're going to put it back down, and we're possibly going to put the other locking nut back on. So tow your stuff in before you think that you need more positive camber, and then go from there. Don't be like me. I'm going to get back to work, and then I will update you guys and let you guys know how it's sitting. Now we have the new set of tires on. They're still the same size. There's no special about them. They're a different brand called Atlas. They seem like they're a little chunkier than the other ones. Maybe not by much, but they seem a lot chunkier because I have the camber out now. So basically it makes the poke out more. So this is what we got. If you look, it is poking a little more than the other ones were. Again, this is with basically 0 camber. I'm pretty sure that in the back has probably like 0.5 positive camber, but it looks really good. It's sitting pretty right now. It's nice and flush. Everything is nice and flush. This is poking. This is poking. And that's nice and flush in the back. And as you can see, this is an eyeball alignment, but it is pretty good. I already drove it 100, 200 miles, and it did fine. Should I have done that? No, but I don't care. These tires are just to make it to the winter tires, and then I got to go figure out who I'm going to go get alignments from. Haven't decided that yet. I like the tire shop in East Line, but I just don't have time because it's during the week. They don't open on the weekend, so I probably won't go to them. But yes. Now, with the whole camber situation and the stuff that I changed now, if you look, car is up a little bit higher. I did not adjust it. Actually, no, this in the front is actually normal. My bad, excuse me. This is a little normal. It is a tad bit higher. Like, I noticed because I noticed, but it's actually not that much higher. Now, in the back, it is a little bit higher. It looks like we're rubbing, which is fine. I'm really not that worried about that. I knew it was gonna rub, but I thought it was gonna be worse, to be honest with you. But it's actually sitting pretty good. This is low enough for me. I would like it a little lower, but just for the sake of rubbing and the fact that it's poking now, we're not gonna go lower. I did actually, which I'm gonna talk about in a second, I didn't change. Remember you guys, I was talking about tightening up the back and stiffening up the back. The back is fine. The back feels great. That's why I didn't want to change anything in the back. I did raise this one a bit, which I should have just tightened it because I'll explain that in a second too. But I did raise this a bit and I balanced everything out. With that being said, the front, I knew that because it was closer, because I had more poke, it was gonna rub. So what I did in the front was I actually tightened up the ones in the front 2 notches up. I no longer scraped the bumper, which is amazing because before I was scraping the bumper on certain bumps, it was literally just 2 clicks. If you look, we got some bumper damage from the stocks. When the stocks were on, it was bumping this and it made the bumper pop out on both sides. But I tightened up the front. Now I don't bottom out anymore in the front unless I'm going extremely aggressive and it's only a tap versus before it was a scrape. So that's good. And now we just tightened up 2 clicks. I did lose a bit of steering. It feels a little bit lighter, which I don't like because it feels like you have less grip, but that does mean I can actually go softer on the tires, which means that I will get more grip back out of that. The rears, I was running at 29 at one point. Right now I'm running them at 30 because this is a new tire, so I want to feel these out. It does look like I'm going to be able to go a little bit softer. I'm not really getting out here, and that's normally where I get from the rollover. Now that I don't have any camber, it feels quite different in the corners. I don't like it. I want at least a degree back, but we'll get to that when we get to that. As of right now, we're going to keep it stock. We're pretty much at 0. It wants to, it's not sliding around, but the rear end wants to slide out less, but it drags. So like, which is good because it feels really good. Before, I could go in a corner and get the rear end to kind of come out a little bit so I could get oversteer to go around the corner faster. Now, it doesn't really oversteer. It just kind of drags behind the front wheels, and the front wheels drag it, and then it'll kind of oversteer behind the car, which still feels really good, but it feels more like a front wheel drive oversteer versus before it felt like a rear wheel drive oversteer. So that's where we're at right now. Now, if you noticed, because I was supposed to do this, but I didn't get to it because I had to get the tires done immediately, we have the stuff for that. I'm about to test fit everything and let you guys know if it fits for sure, because I did test fit it, but the bolts didn't bolt up
and the rotor seemed a little bit small, but we'll get into that. We're gonna upgrade the brakes. I needed axle on this side. This axle went, which that was from when I did the coilovers and the strut popped into the axle. So we're gonna take that out, pop a new one in. I didn't go OEM. Normally I go OEM. I went OEM on the passenger side. They wanted $600 for this axle. They're the same on both sides, so I don't know why they're charging more now, but it was they wanted $600 for it. I wasn't paying $600 for it. So I bought a regular one for $120. And what I mean by regular is like an aftermarket one. I figured that I could go through 6 aftermarket ones and find a good aftermarket one versus paying $600 for one. I did actually see some upgraded ones on Rock Auto that I want to try, but for now, we'll try this one. I had this one on my last Super. I had a Legacy at one point, and it did all right. So hopefully this one does all right. I have been beating this car. Oh, and that's the other thing we need is a wheel bearing. It's starting to make more noise. So I'm gonna have to order that soon. I'm pushing that back. I'm not really that worried about it. It's not noisy enough yet for me to be worried about it. I'm also gonna check the play on it, and if it has play, then I'll order it. But if not, we'll wait. All right, making an outro now. I know this video was a little bit of a mess because I filmed the control arms and the brakes sort of all at once, but obviously I didn't have all the parts for the brakes yet in the beginning of the video. So this is the outro. I'm coming up with the brake video. I have it filmed. I'm editing it. So it's going to take a while, probably a week, but you guys get this for now. You guys get to see the control arms, and you guys get to see that the calipers do indeed fit, but you do need some additional parts, and I'm going to go over that in the next video, and I'm going to try to make it nice and detailed. There'll be an overview at the end of everything you need, because there are some things that you need, like the caliper bolts and a few other things, and I'll go over what fits and what doesn't fit and any of the issues that I ran into. With that being said, I will see y'all next week for sure, because I have that video coming. After that, I don't know. I have other projects in the works, and we'll see. I'm not going to promise anything yet, but the brakes are on, and I will tell you about them in the next video, and I will show you everything that I needed to do it. And again, remember, this is not advice. This is just me documenting my stuff. Take it easy, and see y'all next week.